Well, look at how Missouri, Kansas, and Oklahoma plan to distribute COVID-19 vaccines when they become available. KCU sees an increase in people wanting to join the medical field even during a deadly pandemic.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
COVID-19 vaccines will soon be coming to Missouri, Kansas, and Oklahoma. This is KOAM News at 6. All 3 states expect the first shipments of vaccines around mid-month. KOAM's Zach Dodge begins our coverage with a look at distribution plans in Oklahoma.
The first doses of the Pfizer vaccine will arrive soon in Oklahoma.
Big news in Oklahoma as state health officials provide a more clear timeline for when COVID-19 vaccines will be available in the state.
I think it's going to be a game changer for us here in Oklahoma and throughout the world.
Officials say Pfizer is expected to receive emergency use authorization from the FDA on December 11th. After that, 33,000 Pfizer vaccines will be sent to the state. 10,000 Moderna vaccines will also be sent by the end of the month, with weekly or bi-weekly shipments planned after that. But at first, vaccines will not be available to the general public.
Those initial doses go to our phase 1 people, which are the most risk population that will be on the front lines, and included in that are groups such as healthcare workers, long-term care staff, and residents, and public health staff that will be out there giving the vaccines.
It's a little light at the end of the tunnel, so to speak.
Larry Kane, CEO of Phoenix Healthcare, which manages Grove Nursing Center, is relieved to see a vaccine is on the horizon. In April and May, the nursing center had an outbreak that led to 78 positives and 16 deaths.
The families and the staff within the nursing home, it should make them feel a lot better. It shows them that there's something being done as opposed to, no hope.
State health officials say vaccines for nursing homes will be distributed through a federal program in partnership with pharmacies, a few weeks after the state receives their initial shipments. After the first phase of distribution is completed, it will move to phase 2, which includes first responders, and then finally to the general public sometime in the spring of 2021.
We will ensure all Oklahomans, particularly rural communities, are able to access the vaccine as it becomes available.
Zach Dodge, KOAM News.
State health officials say vaccines will be free. We're going to have more details about a press conference on that subject on our website later tonight at KOAMnewsnow.com. Kansas Governor Laura Kelly expects Kansas to receive its first shipment of a COVID-19 vaccine in a couple of weeks. She said the vaccine will be distributed in 3 phases, and her plan is in line with recommendations from the CDC. Kelly says Kansas is expected to receive 24,000 doses of Pfizer's COVID-19 vaccine in mid-December and roughly another 49,000 from Moderna shortly after that. In all, the state expects to have 150,000 doses by the end of this month, with more coming in weekly after that.
Importantly, the vaccine will be made available based on principles of maximizing benefit, minimizing harm, and striving for equity, justice, and fairness.
Governor Kelly says more than 200 providers have already signed up to assist in distributing a COVID-19 vaccine once it's available. Kelly adds the vaccine will be free, although providers may charge to administer it. However, no one will be turned away for an inability to pay. The Missouri Department of Health and Human Services says that state is expecting a shipment of about 50,000 doses of the Pfizer vaccine sometime around December 15th. Healthcare workers will be among the first to get the vaccine in Missouri. The city of Joplin says it'll follow new CDC guidance for quarantines of people who have close contact with COVID patients. The new guidance says people who are not showing symptoms can quarantine for only 7 days after a negative test result, and without a test, quarantine can be shortened to 10 days. Previously, close contacts were asked to quarantine for 14 days from their exposure date. The Joplin Health Department reports another COVID-19 related death. They say this patient was a 71-year-old man. That latest death brings the city's total to 66. The Jasper County Health Department is reporting 3 more COVID-19 related deaths. Those patients were a man in his 70s and 2 women, each in their 70s and 80s. The latest deaths bring the county's total now to 82. To get updated numbers from communities all around the 4 states, click the banner at the top of our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. According to the American Association of Colleges of Osteopathic Medicine, applications for medical school are on the rise, with a more than 18% increase compared to this time last year. And that can be seen right here in the 4 states at KCU Joplin. According to the university's Phase 1 director, who goes over applications and helps develop the Year 1 curriculum, KCU has seen a 30% increase in applications compared to previous years.
A lot of those personal statements that we see do cite the COVID pandemic as a motivating factor, kind of solidifying their desire to be practicing doctors.
Tonight at 10, we're going to hear from a KCU med student who entered medical school during the pandemic about how the coronavirus is shaping her education. Doug Eddy joins us now with a first look at the weather. Doug.
Hey, Dow, we had all the rain yesterday and then into last night. We actually had a period of light snow, especially in southwestern Missouri, late tonight into the early morning hours, and then kind of back over the rain, and then the showers have really been dissipating over the past several hours. This storm system is weakened. It's going to kind of recharge and head up the eastern seaboard, but continue to head away from us. Tonight, we're going to have the clouds sticking around for a good chunk of the night, but sunshine will start to return for us tomorrow. It's cold. We're sitting upper 30s across the region. We'll drop back down to about 30 later on tonight. We have these northerly winds at about 5 to 10, kind of making it feel a little bit cooler than what it actually is. Temperatures are going to slide back through the 30s again. Most of us about 28 to 30 by morning. We're going to look into the weekend all coming up here in just a bit.
All right, we'll see you then. Thanks, Doug. Missouri Highway Patrol says 2 people from Verona, Missouri are dead following a single-car crash in Lawrence County. The Highway Patrol says 38-year-old Kimberly Paul and 54-year-old James Costanza were traveling south on Business 60, 1 mile north of US 60 in Verona, when their car went off the road and hit a tree. They both died at the scene. Still ahead, the Newton County Commission discusses how it plans to dole out millions of dollars in CARES Act funding. And the commission honors longtime employees. The Newton County Commission today discussed how to distribute $5 million in remaining CARES Act funding. They expect to start giving funds to qualified applicants next week. One sticking point, a rule change dealing with money for first responders. County officials are still working on interpreting that change. Any money that's not spent will go back to the state. Today, Newton County officials thanked county employees for their years of service. The county honored employees who've worked with the county for 5 years or more.
Whenever somebody shows you appreciation for work you've done or years of service you've been here, it makes the employee feel special.
Employees with 20 years of service also received a meat and cheese platter. If you shop this weekend, we hope you remember the KOAM Toy Box campaign. For 32 years, KOAM has partnered with you to give area kids in need a Merry Christmas. It's easy to do. You just buy a toy, take it to one of our drop-off locations, and you can find a list of those locations on our website. You just click on Toy Drop-Off on the banner at the top of the page. You can also click on that banner and donate money through our website at any time, or you can phone in a financial donation during our Toy Box Tuesday telethon, and we'll do the shopping for you. That telethon is going to be Tuesday on KOAM News at noon, 5 p.m., and 6 p.m. Doug Eddy is up next with his complete forecast, and a little bit later, St. Louis police search for a suspect who they say shot a police officer in the neck.
Well, it definitely turned out to be another gloomy day for us today. We had all the rain that rolled in, especially yesterday afternoon and then into the evening hours. And then late last night into the morning hours, especially on the Missouri side, we even switched over to snow across the area into the early morning hours. Of course, temperatures stayed too warm where it didn't cause any issues, but rainfall about 1/4 of an inch since midnight for the month, or this entire storm system. Most of us have picked up about 1/2 to 3/4 of an inch of rain. So what's going to happen down the road as we work through the next few days, really next week? We're in the boring part of the pattern, which most people like the boring part, but we don't really have too much going on over about the next 7 to 10 days. Most of the weekend's going to actually be pretty nice, but we do have a bigger storm system which will start to affect us next week. And of course, you can always get my long range forecast on my month-long blog. That is KOAMnewsnow.com. Kind of cold, anywhere from 37 in Neodesha, 39 in Grove, 39 in Lamar. We have 37 in Monette. We're going to continue to drop back, but we aren't alone. You can see the entire Central Plains mainly into the 30s, if not 40s. Even Dallas is sitting at 45. Looking off toward the east, currently outside, we're at 39. Northwesterly winds 5 to 10, so that does give us a wind chill of 34 degrees. And as we work through the evening hours, our temperatures will slowly drop through the 30s. I think most of us about 28 to 30 by morning, so it is going to be a little bit on the cold side. Clouds have been sticking around all day long. They are starting to break up on the Kansas side, but I still think we're going to have mostly cloudy skies for us tonight as this storm system rolls away from us, and then we'll start to reorganize and head up the eastern seaboard. But this whole system, it's kind of weakened today, and then it's going to just kind of regenerate and head off toward the east. But if we look off toward the west, you can see that big ridge of high pressure from San Francisco, Salt Lake City up to Billings, Montana. That's going to roll in over the next couple days, giving us pretty good weather conditions. Cold tonight. We'll have partly to mostly cloudy skies. We'll drop back right around 30 for an overnight low. Some clouds in the morning, and then the afternoon looks pretty good. Temperatures at least a lot warmer than what we have seen throughout the daytime hours today. So we're going to start at 30, 47 by noon, high temp of 52. We're going to have those west winds at about 5 to 10. Tomorrow night, pretty much clear skies. We'll drop back to about 34 for an overnight low. And then as we work into Saturday, we'll see temperatures right back up into the mid-50s for afternoon highs. Let's go down the road. Let's start with Sunday. We got a weak little system that's going to rotate through, and this is going to cool us down for the second half of the weekend. And then that nice big ridge of high pressure rolls in. It looks good Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And then we see a bigger storm system roll out by Friday. It's going to come out in 2 chunks, Friday and then late Saturday into Sunday. And I think this will give us some winter weather chances. So we're going to be watching that over the next week. 52 tomorrow, 56 on Saturday, a little bit cooler on Sunday, and then we start to warm up as we work through most of next week.
Overall, fairly pleasant weather for the coming week.
Yeah, it looks pretty good for the weekend.
Thanks, Doug. Still ahead, a federal judge dismisses criminal charges against 3 employees of the Ride the Ducks boat that sank in Missouri's Table Rock Lake near Branson. We're going to tell you what was behind the dismissal.
For good.
A federal judge has dismissed criminal charges against 3 employees of the tourist boat that sank in Missouri's Table Rock Lake near Branson, killing 17 people 2 summers ago. The captain of the duck boat, the general manager of the boat's operator, and the manager on duty that day were charged with neglect and misconduct after the amphibious vehicle sank during a storm in July of 2018. The boat had entered the lake despite severe weather warnings. Well, now a federal judge has upheld a previous court ruling that the federal government does not have jurisdiction in that case. A St. Louis police officer was injured while responding to a call just after midnight this morning. It happened just north of downtown St. Louis. Officers were responding to a disturbance call when they saw a muzzle flash from gunfire. The police chief, John Hayden, said one of the officers was hit in the neck. The officer is the 10th officer shot in St. Louis since June. He called this incident especially troubling because the officer hadn't even made contact with the suspect.
Our officers have been under assault. There's no other way to put it. Our officers came under gunfire anyway, even though they were just there to help.
Police said doctors were able to remove the bullet from the officer's neck. That officer, who has not yet been publicly identified, is expected to recover. Police are still looking for the suspect. 4 children are back home after being rescued from a wooded area in Sequoia County, Oklahoma. The kids, ages 5, 6, 7, and 9, were reported missing Tuesday afternoon when they walked away from their grandmother's house. They were found early yesterday morning near Ten Killer Dam. A helicopter crew searching for the children noticed their small flashlight through the trees. The youngest kids were clutching their little dog, Buttercup, for warmth. The kids say they took off to go to their aunt's house, but they got lost. Community members are giving them new shoes and coats to replace what they lost in the woods. Sewage analysis could help control the spread of COVID-19. Reporter Isabel Hansen explains how wastewater samples from Missouri are playing a part in fighting the pandemic.
I never thought in my wildest dreams that this would work.
Once we flush, what's done is done. But Mark Johnson, microbiology professor at University of Missouri, doesn't find what goes down your toilet wasteful.
A person is infected with a respiratory virus. Some of it comes out their waste and it gets diluted in 1 million gallons of wastewater, and you want us to tell us how much is there? Yeah, right. Come on. But it works.
Raw wastewater samples from nearly 100 facilities across Missouri, including from here in Cape Girardeau, get sent to Johnson's lab. Researchers then track genetic markers of the virus that causes COVID-19.
We hope that this data is having a positive impact in helping the officials to respond quicker to any outbreaks.
Todd Fulton started sending samples from Cape Girardeau's wastewater back in July.
It's pretty interesting. Throughout my life, wastewater has always been, it's always a new surprise of things that we can learn.
It is completely unbiased. So it's, the way I see it is more than anything else, it's a reality check.
And the wastewater data closely trends with COVID-19 testing on people, according to Chris Weberg with the Missouri Department of Natural Resources.
So if we're seeing upward trends in an area where we aren't seeing a lot of folks going out and getting tested for the virus, then the Department of Health and Senior Services can focus efforts in that way with the local public health agency.
I mean, we can't detect it before the infection occurs. Once we've detected they are infected, you can't stop that. But you at least know that it's going on and you can prevent it from getting even worse.
Again, that was Isabel Hansen reporting. Samples also get tested from veterans' homes, Department of Corrections, and mental health facilities in Missouri. Project leaders plan to release data to the public soon. Final check on the weather is next. Take time now to honor 3 local veterans, Homer, Arthur, and Clarence Ball. The Carthage natives served in the U.S. Army. The 3 joined the Army when their youngest brother, Kenneth Ball, was drafted to fight in World War II. They decided they didn't want their little brother to go off and fight alone, so they signed up. And we are proud to salute Homer, Arthur, and Clarence Ball, tonight's 4 state heroes. All 4 returned home safely. Coming up tonight at 9 and 10, the Pitt State and Missouri Southern basketball teams are coming home. The Gorilla men and women take on Rogers State, while the Lions welcome in Northeastern State. Our sports team is covering all those games tonight, and we're going to have the highlights for you on 9 on Fox 14 and at 10 here on Channel 7. Now let's check back with Doug.
All right, Dow, it looks like a cold night for us tonight. We're going to drop back to about 28 to 30. Partly sunny skies tomorrow, 52. 56 on Saturday, so Saturday looks pretty good. A little bit cooler on Sunday, and then we warm through the 50s up into the 60s by the middle of next week before our next storm system.
Thanks, Doug, and thank you for joining us. We're going to see you right back here for KOAM News at 10. In the meantime, let's take care of ourselves and each other.